Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ghost Files, your podcast for ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantal.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan.
Good morning, my beautiful
Good
ladies.
morning.
Good morning.
We don't
And
usually
All of our
do this in the
spooky
morning.
mugs.
Yes, we got
Yes.
our spooky mug coffee
Maybe
going
people can
on.
see.
Yeah,
I can see.
My skeleton
Do
mug.
the influencer thing.
I mean, it's my same color as my hand, so it's hard.
Can you hear this?
What is that? What
Oh
is
yeah,
that?
yours sounds
That's
better.
actually the ice with the
Mhm.
skeleton dancing is kind of
Oh,
perfect.
It matches.
Oh, that is.
That's
I
what they
love
would
that.
sound like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, that is the color of your skin, pretty much. That's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Blends in.
For those that are listening, it's a very white tumbler,
Mhm.
and it matches Lindsay's walls and her skin tone.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're a spooky
Oh,
crew this
Okay,
morning.
this coffee is so good,
Mhm.
and it wasn't cheap because espresso's not cheap, but it tastes like I got it at a cafe.
Well, then that makes it
Love
worth
that.
it because then it was still probably cheaper than going to a cafe.
It was.
Is it an
It was.
espresso?
You know that it is. Yes.
Yes. Mine is espresso too. I also have a
Ugh.
double espresso in my Nespresso.
Well, this is the
Yeah.
first coffee. I may switch to the actual pods, like the little espresso shots. Put a little milk on there, a little cinnamon. Oh,
Nice.
you gotta
so
romanticize your
good.
life because, like, life
Well,
is
you have
hard,
to.
and it's not even spring yet. We thought it was, and we jinxed it for sure. So I'm gonna
I
have 2 coffees today.
I feel like I did that today. I pampered myself in the shower. I took a nice long shower, washed my hair, and then I blow dried my hair afterwards. And then I did my entire skincare routine. I was just like,
Whoa.
Love
Chantal,
it. Wow.
this is a way to start a day.
Do you ever see
Yeah.
those videos? Like, I don't really go on TikTok other than for the podcast, but I've seen them like ripped and then put on Instagram where people have like 1,000 face scrubs and body scrubs and lotions.
Oh no, that's
and
disgusting. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
I get that
It's-
aesthetically it's pleasing.
it's
But
a lot.
All I'm is like, you have a problem, and that is overconsumption, and like, what is
Yes.
going on here?
Yes, but
Well-
it does make me curious. Like, could I get a scrub that's like a eucalyptus scent? Probably, right? If there's like 1,000 scents out there, because
Yes,
that
for
would
If you're
sure.
going to be
is.
using them, it's just when they stack up, which I am guilty of as well. Like I've bought products and then you just don't use it all, or like it just gets thrown into like
Listen.
a pile or something.
Yeah.
That's not
I
what
don't
I'm
like
talking
that.
about.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I mean
talking about
that's
these
like
people
normal.
who make their rooms look like they work
A
at
store.
Bath and Body, and
Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
you have
I don't
every
even-
single flavor of every single scrub of every single
A
body
flavor?
wash. Yes, a flavor.
But they
okay?
only last so long.
Well,
Like,
that's the
they're
thing is
going
that-
to expire before you use all of that.
Yes.
It's part of their content creation. Like, it is to be in excess, and people.
I know.
guess. I mean,
it bothers me. I look at it and it just bothers
I
me
agree.
'cause I'm
The
like,
ones I
do
landfill.
like
that is
that
all
are,
going
that,
to
are, that are
landfill.
the ones I like that are very similar is when someone like restocks their pantry or their fridge. It
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks so organized and nice, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God,
I get it.
want
No,
all
no,
that.
no. I get the
Interesting.
pleasure. It's a pleasure and a hate thing for me.
In a small way, what we're talking about could kind of relate to what I'm talking about today.
Oh,
Just about like
I'm shocked.
about maybe like reusing or not just discarding or things like that. Being more
Okay,
conscious of
Lindsay,
what of our
Please start your
consumption.
case and tell us because I have to know how TikTok overconsumption influencers relate to this old ship that I'm looking at. Like,
It's
I
a
have
very
to know.
fine line, but I'll get to it eventually because actually the first part is right on board with that overconsumption, and then
On board.
later on I'll get back into some of the less. Let's not overconsume. Okay.
so reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes.
The 3 R's. Okay, I like it.
Exactly. So today I have a ship story for you.
it.
No one's dying. So
What?
yay.
What?
I
Shocked.
know. It's
It's a first
well,
for us.
apart from
This-
maybe the ship, but no
Well-
people are harmed in my discussion today.
This must be the first time this has ever happened.
I know. When I talk about a ship and no one's dead, like this is great. So I'm
Or
gonna
it
have
didn't
fun
go
today.
through a bunch of trauma to survive. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, okay.
we'll
so
get to
trauma
that
is it. Yeah,
I
Chantal,
went
there
too
might be
far.
some
I went too
tar.
far.
yeah, of course there's trauma. Like, come on.
Like, be real.
Right. So this ship has quite the history, and I had never heard of it until recently. This is the story of the SS United States. So check out the first
Ooh.
photo.
Well,
Look
the
at her.
name is very patriotic, and I have also never heard of this.
Me neither.
Oh, it's a nice ship, though. I like when they do
Yeah.
the flags like that. That's only for like special
know.
occasions, I assume. But when they like trail the flags all
Probably.
up and down, that looks very cool. Like it's in a parade.
I think so as well. So I've touched on this in other episodes that between the mid 1800s and the 1950s, ocean liners were like in their heyday. They were the primary source of intercontinental travel. So if you wanted to go overseas, you're probably going on an ocean liner. They replaced sail ships because of their speed and more luxurious accommodations.
Hmm.
Before the end of the ocean liner era, the United States was one of the last great liners ever built. It was designed by
Mm.
William Francis Gibbs, a marine engineer and architect. You can check out William on the next photo.
Willy boy.
He looks trustworthy
Familiar?
and also not trustworthy at the same time.
He's
He looks
trustworthy.
like he should
Okay.
be working in
Yeah.
Jurassic Park to me.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's the hat. You know
Yeah.
what? He is the
The
father
hat.
to the guy who's like, clever girl. That's his dad.
Yes,
Yes.
that is right.
Well, his biggest dream in life was to design the fastest ocean liner in the world. He actually quit his job in real estate so he could be full-time
Wait,
ocean liner
wow.
designing. Yeah.
Okay.
He goes from selling like mid-century modern homes to no, actually, I'm sure he started way before that.
Well,
But
yeah,
how do
he
you
started like in the
1900s?
1910s. Yeah.
This house is one nickel, and it's not going to stay at this price for long. How do you go from real estate to designing
I
ships?
I'm guessing he may I'm totally guessing. I didn't research this, but maybe
Yeah,
he
that's fine.
was like in the Navy first and served and then got a regular job after and he's like, "No, my passion is
That would make sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
ocean liners."
There
That's what I'm
was
guessing, but
there's a doctor at work and he is an aviation engineer before he
oh, wow.
decided later to get his MD license. And I asked him one day, I said, "How did you make that transition?" And he goes, "Well, one was working on machines and another is working on like our body, which is a machine." And he was like, it was just kind of like learning another
Well,
machine.
yeah, I mean, he sounds
And
very
then,
smart.
and so now he does a lot of like travel stuff.
Oh, wow,
Oh,
that's so cool.
yeah. So
Someone's
he does the
knocking at my
travel
door right
and
now.
he works for, he used to work for one of the airlines here and everything too. Anyways, so I get it. You can make these different transitions, and to us,
Yeah.
to the layman person, it doesn't seem
Yeah, I assume it
like it makes
was
a
like a
connection, but
combination of intelligence and passion towards
mhm,
this because he
for sure, for
dedicated his
sure.
life to it.
Hmm.
I'll let him make a dance at the door.
Sorry, I have some stupid door-to-door solicitor.
Oh,
You guys need
don't
to
they
put a
know we're
no soliciting
recording?
sign on there.
Yeah, I should be like recorded in progress.
Yeah. Oh
I'm surprised they
yeah.
would.
You should get a
So,
light
yeah,
over your door that has that. You just flick it on air.
exactly.
People be like, she's making porn in her apartment.
Don't you know I'm a fancy podcaster? Be gone.
I mean, I'm naked, but still, it's a podcast.
So his first attempt to make this super fast ocean liner was delayed due to World War One. He had received funding from J.P. Morgan Chase Jr. and his company, but obviously war efforts take precedent or
Hmm.
priority, sorry,
Hmm.
over luxury ocean liners. So he did build some impressive ships during this time, like after World War One. There was the SS America, which was designed to be a passenger liner. It had to be again diverted to war efforts, and this SS America was actually the same liner United States lines that end up building the SS United States. It's gonna be really hard because my whole time in my head I
The
was saying
SSUS.
USS United States. I'm like, no, it's
Oh my
SS
god.
United States.
That's fair. That's fair.
I feel like he needs a
You could
little
say the
help with
SS
his.
USA.
He needs help with his
Yeah.
I guess it's not the
marketing
USA though. It's
because
SSUS.
America and United States, those are very similar names for
Hmm.
ships.
Yes, but
It's a little
I'll get to it a little
sus.
bit. I think of why they chose this name. It's just supposed to be like the embodiment of the American dream. So why not just call it
Gotcha.
Call it what it
after
is.
the United States?
Gotcha.
So during World War II, he actually designed quite a few Navy vessels called Liberty ships. He would build them very quickly and they'd be very fast. So he was building a lot of ships during his time before his ultimate goal, but they were obviously more focused on war.
What a smart man. He's
So,
just like
y-
selling houses and he's like, you know what? Actually,
yeah,
I'm going to design ships and lots of them.
exactly. And during both World War I and World War II, a lot of ocean liners became naval ships because
Yeah.
they just needed them. So
That
the
makes
Queen
sense,
Mary,
yeah.
for example, was one of them, which is docked in Long Beach, California. We'll get to that one day in the
I was gonna say
future.
that has to be on. I would say your list, Lindsay. Maybe
It's on the
Yeah, it
list.
could be
that's
on
on the
either of our
list.
lists. Maybe we do a combo episode. Megan.
Oh, that could be
That'd be
cool.
fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then
I
Sean
think
talks
we
I
could
about
do
love
how
enough
it.
like
about it.
sharks tried to attack
Yeah.
it or something.
Right. I think we could figure it out.
Okay.
I know that was and that's why we drink special episode that I saw in their live
Oh, yeah,
show, which
right,
is
right,
really
right.
cool. So it
Their
seems very
live show,
haunted.
by the way, is so great. If anyone's ever gone to see them, Chantal and I went last year.
Yes, last year. It was, like,
Okay.
last winter.
Yes.
Such a
Yes.
fun show and like really, really good vibes. Like everyone in the audience was like just nice, chill, having a good time. It was
Mhm.
awesome.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
theater that we saw it in is a haunted theater.
Which never
Mm.
came up, which is
No, it
funny.
didn't, which is funny, but then I was on Reddit later, and there was somebody there who said that they felt certain things there, like, felt somebody brush up against them, which is
Oh.
something that's very common there, like, apparently there's supposed to be a kid that, like, touches people's legs and stuff like that, and they were saying that they were
Oh,
feeling
wow.
certain things. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I was pretty sure during their show was when Maeve turned breach.
You did. You did
Oh,
tell
I
us.
guess you did, yeah.
I felt a huge movement. I got so uncomfortable. And then at my next appointment a few days later, they're like, yeah, she's breached now.
That
I'm like,
definitely would have been it.
and she was so
Yeah.
big. I was like pretty far along. I was like
She got
almost
so
8 months
excited she was doing
pregnant.
flips.
And she was like, I really want my birthday to be the same as M or Christine's. I don't really care
Right.
which one.
And I
so she
actually, and I went
backflipped.
into labor on M's birthday and had her on Christine's birthday.
That's so
maybe
crazy.
there was, yes, maybe they'll think that's cool if we ever talk to them.
Yeah.
But
I
I
think
thought it
we'll
was
think that's
cool.
cool.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what are the, it's all coming together. It makes sense.
It's all
she was
and
a
it goes
fan.
all the way to the top.
Yeah, exactly. So by the end of the 1940s, his dream would come true when the United States Lines was looking for a new ship to sail alongside their SS America. And the U.S. government also agreed to help with some of the costs with the promise that this ship could also be used for war efforts if needed, because at that time there was lots of tensions in Korea and Korean War eventually happened. So they just wanted to, have more
Yeah.
ships was going to be better, especially if this was going to be a super fast ship. The SS United States could carry up to 14,000 troops for 10,000 miles before needing to refuel. So this was
Whoa.
going to be, it would be a very good ship to have if they needed it.
Yeah. Holy
Mhm.
crap.
So the construction of the ship was a closely guarded secret. You can look at my next photo. It was built away from public eye because the Navy did not want anyone to know its true speed and capabilities. And again, in case of war,
This
it
photo
was
was
supposed
so
to be a
cool, by the
national
way.
secret. Yes.
It's like you really don't realize how huge these ships
I
were
was
until
thinking
you
the
see
same
it
thing.
next to people
Yeah.
like that. Like you see it out on the water and you're like, "Oh, cool, beautiful ship." Like you understand that it's big, but then you see this and it's like, "Holy
Yeah.
crap."
And it was also built apparently on like a dry
Wow.
dock. So it was built all above the water to then, I guess,
Oh.
lowered into the water. I think
Must
that's
have
how
looked
it works.
so bizarre, like to see it in person completely above the water like that. Because obviously
Yes.
you always see what, like 2/3 of it. You don't see, or I'm not sure ship ratios. I don't know, but you never see the full thing because obviously it's in the
Right.
water. That was just
Mhm.
Yeah.
nuts.
And this was very high out of the water. I'll get to its specifications in a second, but
Oh, thank
it
God!
was
I'm so
very,
curious.
I know, very huge. It was also built out of aluminum, which would be lighter in the water, therefore faster.
Hmm.
So construction began in 1950 and it was completed about in 16 months, was pretty fast, really,
Damn!
with 3,100 people working on it.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Pretty impressive. Yeah.
Listen,
I know. I
say what you
cannot
want
accomplish that
about.
much in 16
No,
months.
I think that it's so amazing. I love hearing these stories about when, either I know that we're kind of generalizing, but a country comes together just to build a high quality thing quickly and they
Yeah.
just throw people at it.
Mhm.
I just love a strong economy. I know it sucks that it always happens around wartime, but it's like to see all
Mhm.
these people in this photo who
Yeah. Well, this
probably
was
lived on
after
it.
World War II. So I think it was just like the economy is starting to be reinvigorated. They want to start letting people travel again, like stuff
Can
that people
our
couldn't
economy be
do.
reinvigorated? Just
I hope
asking.
so. So it was over 100 feet longer than the Titanic at 990 feet or 302 meters or 140 shacks
Thank you.
long.
Thank you.
you. 101 feet wide or 31 meters or 14 shacks. So Pretty big girl.
I love this. Yeah.
It's a lot
The
of
width was
shacks.
actually very strategic because they wanted it to be able to pass through the Panama Canal. And there was only 2 feet on each side. So you had to be really good.
Yeah.
I mean, have a
I'm
good
sure
captain to
everyone
get
on
her
the bridge
through.
is like biting their nails, like super
I
Especially
know.
stressed.
like I don't know too much about building things, but I do know that aluminum foil rips really easily, and I don't know how I feel about this thing being made out of aluminum.
I feel like the
Um,
thickness is a little bit different
Yeah.
to my
Yeah.
knowledge.
But like I
There was
still
no
think that like
mention
a
of
lot
that
of
being
aluminum
an
foil I
issue.
could rip.
Yes, it was not made of aluminum foil, but
But I know
spoiler
I know
alert,
what you're
she
saying.
was yeah, she was never ripped open. So
Oh,
just a
Okay,
spoiler
so
alert.
we didn't
Yeah,
have a Titanic episode here. Got you.
no,
I'm just like the
remember,
Panama
no one's
Canal.
dead. No one's dead.
It's quite
Yeah,
thin there. And the
Also, my only
foil
real
and
reference for the Panama Canal is from Team America World Police. So I feel like
well,
I'm not even going to
very
speak on
on
this.
theme for this
America, fuck
America
yeah.
episode.
I know. I kept thinking like it's just very patriotic, and I'm like, I can see why the Americans are like, yeah, this is like our culture. Like I get it because it literally is.
Right.
Oh, that movie's so
Um,
good.
So after her launch in July 1952, she became an icon on the seas. She reinvigorated travel, which the ocean liner had suffered a lot during wartime. Obviously, people aren't traveling and having fun during
Mhm.
war.
Can you imagine?
She
She's like
was
1943. Do you guys want to go to Paris for the summer and just
beach
chill out?
weekend. You read the room, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was the pride of the USA, a floating American dream, and she was also known as the Big U, which maybe I'll just call her that moving forwards because
Oh,
it's really
Big
hard to
U.
say SS
The
United
big
States.
U.
She was
I like it.
designed beautifully inside as well. She had 14 first-class rooms and almost 400 staterooms. Gibbs, her designer,
That's a
wanted really
great name.
bold colors, nothing too dull. Obviously, she's very mid-century modern, Megan. We appreciate
Love it.
that.
Love
And he also really, really wanted her to be fireproof. He had a really big fear of fires, which could happen on
Oh,
ships.
That's a healthy thing
Um,
to have if you're a
yeah,
fire. I think.
Exactly. So he didn't want any wood aboard. He had to make the exception for the piano, which they ended up using a fire-resistant mahogany, which he literally had set on fire just to test it out, and it was fine.
Wow.
Yeah, like that's the level.
Damn,
And the
this
only
guy
other
is like
thing,
scared. What happened to him as a
yes,
I know. I feel like I have more
don't know.
questions.
kid?
Some
Did
trauma.
his
He just
entire family die in a fire?
I
Like,
mean,
what happened?
if you put your whole life into making this ship, you want it to not
I
suddenly go up in
get
smoke,
it.
I guess.
And
But, like,
also,
this
too,
comes
I
from
mean,
somewhere.
at this
Yeah.
point, you have seen so many ships suffer every kind of
Mm.
like
Right.
disaster
He's
on
just
the
trying to
sea.
prevent
Yeah.
the easy things to prevent, I guess.
Yeah.
The
that's
only
fair.
wood was the kitchen butcher blocks because the chefs were like, we need our butcher blocks, dude. So I'm not going to cut on aluminum.
Fair. Wait, sorry, really, really quick.
It breaks.
I forget if this was me and Damien or me and Chantel at my parents' house, but I had a cutting board that was, I'm not sure if it was wood or if it was bamboo specifically, but it had broke or snapped. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring this and lay it on fire because like I like to burn things, not in a creepy way, in a cathartic way,
In a healthy
Yes.
way.
in a healthy,
healthy
like
way.
I appreciate, the power of fire. And so I do that. And, all the oil that had seeped in over the years of using it, it was a show. So just if you have an old cutting board and you're like, hey,
Okay.
just be aware it could hide secrets. So just that's all I'm going to
Ghosts
say.
are flying out of it.
It was very dramatic. If you want to roast marshmallows, you didn't have to get that close because the flames were substantial.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I'm definitely more safety first when it comes to fires, but I do love a good candle. So,
Hmm.
but that's what not have been allowed on board, I don't think.
Yeah, probably.
I
not.
wonder if they had, because, no, they obviously
They
had
would have had electricity.
We're not at
Yeah.
gaslights, Megan.
I was
Right.
just
Remember
asking.
Titanic had electricity?
Oh, yeah.
And this is
Remember
later.
they kept it going?
Yeah, but candles
We're
with
at
a vibe. There was no
1952,
like little
40
tea
years
lights?
later.
Mm.
Do you think that
I
if
don't know.
you had to grow up on like gas lights and candles, that would be like the last thing that I'd want to do once electricity was invented? I'd be
Yeah.
like, get this out of my face. We have this now.
But
and
even if
everyone
they
looks nice in
did,
candlelight.
right? If they had a candle, because it's so fire resistant on the ship, it probably would have been fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
That's
to
fair.
achieve the fire resistancy, they had to use asbestos,
Oh,
as
no.
we all know is not good today.
We're just doing as
But it
best as we
was-
can.
Yeah,
At the time.
Oh,
It's
it's
one of my
like,
favorite jokes. Sorry.
oh my God. Yeah. So asbestos is made of 6 minerals. They're very resistant to heat, making it the perfect thing for preventing
Nothing wrong with
fires.
it. So good.
Unfortunately, very dangerous. It leads to lung issues, potentially causing cancer, like
Oh, whatever. It's
mesothelioma.
fireproof. So
Mesothelioma.
that's
Can't say that.
we've all seen the
Okay.
commercials.
Yes, we have. So yeah, the 50s loved their asbestos. So this actually gives me a good segue into my personal story. For those listening, maybe last week or the week before, I mentioned that we bought a condo. It is from the 50s,
I'm
actually around the
nervous.
exact same year the Big U launched.
Thank
So
you.
the kitchen is original from the 50s. It is like metal cabinets.
Uh-huh.
The oven is actually original. I will be selling it if anyone wants a vintage oven. It works. So hit me up really quickly. Thank you. Um, but Eric wanted to test it for asbestos. So there's no asbestos like out and about, but the previous owners just put like a wood laminate over the original linoleum floor,
Mm.
which I assume is because they didn't want to know about the asbestos. They want to, if you cover it, it's like you're just Band-Aid on the problem. Like you just, it's
Mhm.
out of sight, out of
It's still
mind.
there.
Perfect.
Right. So we got someone, a professional, to go in and test under this, and there is indeed asbestos. So,
Oh, no.
which, knowing what I know now, I've done a lot of research. I'm not even a little bit surprised. Now we
Yeah.
did get a closing credit, so like maybe I'll go towards the asbestos treatment. But
God.
yeah, it's we're unfortunately I was really looking forward to having my vintage kitchen, but I don't want asbestos. So we're probably
That's
just gonna
fair.
gut it.
Makes sense.
Isn't
And
asbestos only dangerous though, like when it's broken and things like that? Like it's
Yeah.
fine to have there. It's the degrading. So
right.
like them covering it over does mean that it was, but like you obviously don't want it. If you can get rid of it, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it might have been covered over years ago. I'm not sure when. But Eric doesn't like that they didn't do a perfect job. Like it doesn't go right up flush to parts of the
No, totally.
cabinets. He's like
Mm,
he's very particular, and I am
that's
too.
fair. That's fair. I would
I just
be.
like saving,
I know.
25 grand. But
I'm
you know
sorry.
what?
Oh,
It's we got it for a cheap price for a reason, so we knew we were gonna have to invest in
Yeah.
it. And now we get to do a new kitchen. I'm just a little bummed that I don't get to keep my vintage metal cabinets. I was
Yeah.
gonna touch them up
there are
and
things that I'm sure you can do with pieces in the kitchen currently if you want to take and like repurpose them. Maybe you can make like a storage cabinet or I don't know. There's stuff. Just Pinterest.
it's possible. It's just it's hard for me to like find places that will that specialize in vintage cabinets like that. So
Yeah.
that's everyone
Mm.
does wood now.
And you'd
Yeah.
probably honestly be spending more on it once you do find a place like
Right. I
that.
know Gibbs would have loved those metal cabinets.
Yeah.
So fire
Fire resistant.
resistant.
No
Yeah. So
fire
it's
in this
just
kitchen.
Tons of
I,
asbestos. He's like A plus. This is great.
and that's like it's kind of motivated me a little bit for this episode because of my personal life right now, because I do really want to save it. I wanted to save the kitchen. I want to like reuse materials. I don't want to get rid of like I like history. Obviously, I do the
Mhm.
history episodes,
Yeah.
but I got to do what makes the most sense. So we'll see. Maybe Meg and I can keep like we have one
Even
tall
just
cabinet on the side,
even just parts
maybe,
of it,
but
even add on legs and
it's
feet, and I don't know.
possible.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just, look into it. And if you have anywhere where you can store them in the meantime, like even in the corner or keep parts, I totally agree
I
with you. I
know.
don't like throwing things out. I have a coffee table that is almost 25 years old, probably older. And that's where my little brother learned how to walk and like probably bashed his head. And Clark, the old
Yeah.
family dog, was chewing on the corners. And it's just like it has history. And Damien's like, oh, I want to get a soft ottoman. I'm like, well, over my dead body. And this thing's not leaving.
Yeah.
So
Well, I will say I'm not completely redoing the bathrooms. So, like, the original tile is in the bathrooms.
ugh.
It's staying. I'm
Can't wait to
cleaning it
see
up.
like more
And
photos and see how you like just
yeah,
kind of
Mhm.
embrace the history and
right.
make it a little more modern, more comfortable. But I know you're
Right.
going to
But I
keep
think,
like the aesthetic the same.
right. I think I'm going to go like, I'm going to try to do some mid century modern, at least in like some rooms.
Mm.
Megan, you can help me out with that.
I'm gonna start the
But for the
Pinterest board right now.
bathrooms, I guess we're having a plumber come in. He's like
Are you
making
gonna
sure
keep the
everything's
old school Chicago toilets that are look like you're
Oh, the
in
industrial
a
toilets? Yeah,
yeah,
it's,
like
I
you're in a
forget the
public
flush, so
bathroom.
it's they don't have the tanks, they're the more industrial
Ah,
ones.
Oh,
But
yeah.
apparently, they're way better for flushing, and they like, there's so
Yes.
much more water
They're less
pressure.
likely to
jet
clog and
jet
stuff like that
stream.
as well. Yeah.
Right, so I am
It'll take
keeping
your
those.
whole kid down with it. She gets too
Oh my god.
close.
I mean,
But at least they
from
can't play in they can't, like, lift up the top and, like, try to
That's
put
fair.
things
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
I
yeah.
used to
water
hide stuff in
tank,
there when I was
so
a kid. I'm
You
like,
used to
oh,
hide
what's
what
this
oh,
in
in there
there?
wow.
hidden?
Oh
Like,
my
you
gosh.
take it
Your
off, and I'd be like,
poor
oh, like, what's all in
parents.
here? Well, and you're always like, well, what if my brother's gonna come and like steal my babysitting money and maybe have like a plastic bag
You
or
hid your money in there? Oh
drugs?
my god.
Wow, don't accept money from Megan. It's
Yeah.
toilet money.
Toilet
It's in
toilet money.
plastic. What? My money isn't
And
good
it's in
enough
the
for you?
back. The tank in the back is
Yeah.
like clean, to be
Yeah.
honest. It's just the
Yeah.
thought of it is gross. But
Well,
Yes.
anyways,
Thank goodness
back
we
to
have
this
e-transfers and
asbestos.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Back to this
Okay.
asbestos
So
ship.
that's just a little bit about my host life, and I'll keep everyone updated. If anyone does like vintage remodel and have tips for me, please let me know. Okay.
Yes.
Back to the ship. So here's a photo of the first class ballroom just to give you an idea
Mm.
of the interior.
whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I guess because I'm like so used to seeing the Titanic on the inside. This
Right.
is not what I expected for the furniture, but I
Look
like
I know
at
it.
the
well,
The
glass.
tables are like,
it's mid-century
Look
modern.
at the glass.
I know
yes,
the
I
table's not
know.
big enough.
No.
This is more like a cocktail lounge, I think.
I
Like
think it is. It's supposed to be like the ballroom area, so like
Mm.
then people can sit down here and have a drink.
Yeah,
It's not like
Mm.
dinner, right?
I wonder what color it was because there's beautiful like underwater scenes of coral and animals like
Mm.
Yeah.
etched on the glass, and I'm hoping it's like either like a pearlescent pink or like a blue.
I mean,
Oh,
I could try to find a
imagine.
color photo. I
Yeah, the
maybe
glass is beautiful. I
That's
want
so
that.
yeah.
cool.
I want a glass bathtub or stand-up shower with this on it.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Because the glass
I don't think they
bathtub is
make glass bathtubs
interesting,
very-
but
Right,
the
that'd
shower
be-
door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is freaking beautiful.
Yes. And by the way, I just want to mention that most of my photos are coming from the SS United States Conservancy. So they were a great resource for this episode. Lots of photos there. So I
Oh,
recommend
awesome.
checking it out. I'll mention them again later on. But if you want to see more photos and have more information, that's the place to go. It's like
Okay.
probably the best spot. So eventually her speed became known. Remember, it was a top secret. So
Mhm.
her top speed came at a whopping 38 nautical miles or 44 miles per hour. And she could go 20
Damn.
nautical miles in reverse. So just to compare, most ships would probably average around that 20 nautical miles that she could do in reverse. That was like
Damn.
forward. I think I saw between
Yeah.
20, 24 nautical miles is kind of the norm.
Just imagine seeing a
Wow.
ship go that fast backwards. That would be
I would
very
not want to be the
unnerving.
one steering
I know,
that
right?
ship. Like I
No.
see
Yeah.
when like, I've been at places before where you see those big cruise ships backing up and it is so slow. And even then you're like, are they gonna make it? Like
Right. She would just be like, shh, in.
Oh my
No,
God.
she's big though.
it's like
so.
a NASCAR driver driving this thing. Like he's just
I was
really good at
thinking-
handling it.
I was thinking more like Fast and Furious.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry, I just hit a table with my hand. Sorry, it's my
no.
fault.
Ouch. Ouch.
So loud. I'm sorry.
Oh. Her captain, Commodore Harry Manning, probably wanted to kind of NASCAR driver, I'm sure, but he took
Mhm.
pleasure probably in maxing out her max speed on the ocean. So to this day, she has the fastest transatlantic trip record of 3 days, 10 hours, and 40 minutes,
Still.
beating the Queen Mary by 10 hours. So,
Whoa.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's
but
incredible.
It's pretty great. This was achieved on her maiden voyage. So you see the next photo of her glorious return to New York City after her maiden voyage.
Oh, everyone's
Oh.
losing their minds.
I know. A maiden voyage scares me because of the Titanic, which is
Right?
you know,
Yeah.
obviously not very common, but
We have been burned.
made it back. And look how all these ships greeting her. It was probably quite
Yeah.
the sight to witness.
So much
and we actually
champagne,
went
I'm
through
sure.
here when we were in New York. Remember we took a boat
On our
tour?
little
Oh, yeah,
ferry
yeah.
ride.
Yeah.
because we went around the statue.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
Guys, that was 10
great
years
shot
ago.
there.
No,
No.
No, it was more than that. Oh my God, it was more than that.
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
No,
because
it was not more. No,
Samus is only
no.
10 years old, and I got Samus like 2 months after Lindsay moved here.
Yeah.
So
It'll
does that
be
mean that I
10
went to New
years
York and
this
Mexico in the same
fall.
year?
Yeah, you were traveling a lot. It's
Yeah,
much
I
easier
think
to travel
I
when
had
you're
no
young.
money. How did that happen?
I know. You figure out a way.
That actually, I mean, like I have zero credit card debt, zero debt in total, but 10 years ago. I could
Yeah.
have been like,
Yeah.
what's
Different
another
story.
couple $100s?
I know. I was debt free, but now I'm
Well,
not. But it's okay. It's
I
good
never
debt.
I
I mean,
never
it's an
count a
investment.
house. Like,
Yeah,
It's like counting a
that's fine.
school loan. You don't count those either. That's not your fault.
I mean, I do count school loans, but yes,
Yeah, it is
I
our fault.
I
But
know the
No.
sentiment.
It's not my fault that I was poor and I had to go to school without any money. Like, I'm sorry, at 18 years
right.
old, what money do I
I wasn't a
have?
trust
I
fund
have
child.
Also,
Mom,
why are you
had
giving me credit cards? I'm 18. I just said I'm 18. Like, what do I need a
Actually, I
credit
was
card
very
for?
good. I never really started
Yeah,
spending a
I never
credit
paid
card
my
until I
card
was
late.
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I thought I was free money. I was not taught what credit cards were. I'm so much
Oh
better
yeah,
now. It was bad.
I was lectured severely by my dad, who is an
Yeah, well, that makes
accountant.
sense.
So
Yeah.
No one
yeah.
told me nothing.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
was just like,
Yeah.
let's go shopping, girls. Lunch is on
Well, actually,
me.
that's not fair. That's not fair. Your stepmom definitely tried to tell you, like, hey, you should do something.
Later.
And you were like,
Later. And
I'm
I was
good.
like,
I'm
I don't need a
cool.
budget. And then when I listened,
What's
I was like,
that?
oh my
You
God,
were
my life is
warned,
changing.
but now
Well,
you are so good with money. So there you go.
Night and day.
So with a reputation like hers, she had many prestigious guests, including 4 U.S. presidents: Harry Truman,
Oh.
Dwight Eisenhower, John Kennedy, and Bill Clinton. I think the latter two were not presidents at the time of their journeys on her,
I
but
say, I'm like,
obviously Bill
wait.
Clinton wasn't, because he was on his way to study in England. He was like a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
So, and JFK was still a senator at the time. But you can go my next photo. Here's JFK and Jackie,
mm,
She's so
America's
pretty.
fave family. I know. Like, I want to like wear this to work.
especially the gloves.
The brooch?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I love brooches.
I love the
The
jacket.
gloves, though, you're right. The gloves are like
The pearls
a
might be too
statement.
much for
Right?
the office today, but I
Especially
love
the
it.
double line. Maybe do one line of pearl. That's just
One
me.
line. Yeah.
Yeah, classy.
And you know what? I
Classy.
know that everyone is problematic now because humans are human, but like they're a very cute couple.
Yeah. And
She's better.
obviously, in the day, they were the it
It.
couple.
Mm-hmm.
Other famous guests included Marilyn Monroe. Ever heard of her?
Never.
Awkward.
Princess Grace
Oh,
of Monaco.
right,
So
yeah.
Grace.
It took me a second.
Like, hello.
Oh.
Sorry, say the last line again. Who's
Okay.
the other special guest?
Princess Grace of Monaco, Grace Kelly,
Oh, wow.
Salvador
Oh.
Dali, Walt
Damn.
Disney,
Ooh.
Oh.
Marlon Brando, Elizabeth Taylor,
God
John
damn.
Wayne, Judy Garland, Coco Chanel, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, Cary Grant, Duke Ellington, and more. Like, that's
Who
just to name a
hasn't been on
few.
this ship that isn't someone?
Yeah.
I know, right? So,
Also, Grace
Uh,
Kelly, stunning.
oh
and
my
her
gosh,
story
absolutely
is so
beautiful.
sad
Grace
how she died.
Kelly.
Holy shit.
I know.
I
It's
love that song,
actually,
too.
yeah. I was reading somewhere because when Princess Diana married Prince Charles, she was probably nervous and stuff. And Grace Kelly, Princess Grace, made her feel really comfortable, like there was some event or something.
Aw.
And whatever they talked about helped her. And it's ironic that they both end up dying as princesses
In a
car
car.
crashes. Yeah. Really sad.
Well, we all know the Princess Di was killed. So anyway,
Ooh.
The queen.
I'm pretty sure she,
I actually think the
Was?
Queen. I think the Queen liked her.
I think she did too. But
She liked
We
her
can get
better
in-
than who
Camilla.
he married
Camilla.
later. Yeah,
So
Camilla.
I just saw this thing where I guess a British newspaper was like, oh, Camilla and King Charles and 50 years together. I'm like, he was married.
no, they said 20.
well,
They
but
said 20, but they're like, that's why everyone
hold on,
was
I'll
giving
have to find it. But the
giving a shit
newspaper,
like, oh, only 20?
yeah, no, the newspaper was saying like they called it their 50-year love affair, try and make it like sound romantic, and it's like he was literally married to someone else and had kids.
Yeah.
And I know that it wasn't a love marriage, but you can't try and make this seem romantic when he was having an affair the whole time that he was married. Anyway,
Right. They definitely posted as 20 years together. They're trying to, make it seem from their actual marriage. But yeah, I mean, it is sad that he couldn't marry the person he loved in
it
the
sucks
beginning.
on both
but
things, but that's
Mhm.
just so disrespectful.
It's right. 100%. I'm Team Diana, obviously.
obviously because we are millennials, so
yeah.
Yeah. So not to mention obviously, yeah, she had prestigious guests, but thousands and thousands of travelers and immigrants wrote on her as well.
That's
So
awesome.
Mhm.
she brought a lot of people over to the US, and maybe vice versa too, but she did it. She had a lot of passengers.
Mhm.
she got around.
One of her other famous passengers was the Mona Lisa, who traveled from Paris to an exhibition in the US. So
Whoa.
Oh, very
very
cool.
cool. Yeah. Obviously, she was trusted by they trust the ship to make sure she was safe.
It was super
Yeah.
fireproof. So
Even though the
Yes.
aluminum
They're
foil,
like,
I'm still not past this.
I like how you don't even consider like aluminum can. You get a foil. You go
That's
like this.
also still really easy to
it's
cut.
not
I'm
made of, yeah,
sorry.
Chantel's just saying, yeah, they just roll up the foil. They're like, pat it down. They're like, all right,
This is it.
aluminum foil can do a lot of things. So, you know. Here's an advertisement if you want to check out the next photo of from her glory days.
I
So she
love
was,
this.
I know, isn't it cute? Very
It is.
50s. She was
Yeah.
marketed as the American dream. So after the war, like I said earlier, people just wanted to enjoy life again. This ship will just embody like the hard work people um, put to get to America and also put into the ship itself. So, people want to have fun again. The war's over. You can see on this, near the bottom, the price for a first class ticket was $350. So today that would be about $4,100. So not cheap.
Oh, wow. I mean, but that's a
And
4-day trip. That's,
yeah, yeah.
that could be
I think
like
that,
the vacation itself is being on the boat. It's almost like going on a cruise now.
But it is. I think that was
Yeah.
that
yeah,
was part of it. This
right. And
poster is just phenomenal. I just love the way things were made back in the 50s
mhm.
and 60s. There's so much like hand painted work. It just looks
Yeah,
phenomenal. And like the little characters at the top, like the little family, like just the style of that painting is just so precious.
Mhm.
yeah. Megan, you would have had fun being in marketing in the 50s.
Yeah, but I
Mhm.
would have gotten fired because I would not take all that fucking sexist shit. So
That's
I'd be
fair. It would
I'd be
be hard.
hired and fired probably very fast. But yes, I'd have multiple jobs, just not any
Yes,
long.
but you make
A
beautiful
long
stuff.
resume, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
If you were even working, because, probably be a
Oh, I'm
housewife.
listen. If I had stayed in my hometown,
You,
I'd have
you're on
I'd
your
have more kids
Quaaludes
than
and
you.
drinking martinis.
Yeah, no, it would definitely be rum and cokes. I'd have multiple kids. High
Yeah.
school maybe would have finished. I don't know.
Maybe two
She's
strands of
smoking with
pearls.
curlers in her hair,
Think like Trailer Park
ironing for her
Boys.
husband.
Oh,
Sorry, my husband wouldn't have a job. Who am I ironing for? It would
I
be
know.
like
Now I want
anyway.
AI to create Megan as a 50s
Housewife.
But
lady.
can I
Yeah.
have like the good version? I want
But
like the
like,
high
but like
class
rough,
version.
rough around, like rough around the
Yeah.
edges.
You'd probably be drinking a martini on the big U. So,
Oh,
That's what I would hope for
okay.
myself.
yeah. Um, Also, I meant to say $165 for a general ticket. So about 2,000 today. So for your
Wow,
average
okay.
Joe, not cheap either.
No.
Wow, yeah.
And sorry, you said it was like a 4 days was the standard, like three and
It
a
was
half was
5 days.
5 days.
Yeah, you arrive in less than 5 days. So less than 5 days on the fastest, most incredible liner, SS United States. Sometimes before a party gets well underway, you know it's going to be wonderful. You get to the same feeling the minute you step aboard the United States. How can you miss? If you like speed, here's the
Hmm.
world's fastest first American liner in 100 years to win the Atlantic Blue Ribbon Speed Trophy.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's just one of the lines on there. I zoomed in really hard to get that. Okay, back out, back out.
Next time you have to
So,
read it with like that
Mhm.
like transatlantic accent like that they all did in the
good
50s.
Of
morning.
course.
Um,
No.
did you? Is the SS United States and the SS America, are those two different boats? Because I'm seeing that for the
Yes.
prices. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Just double
So
checking.
they're kind of for the United States lines. Gibbs had made the SS America first, but then the United
Oh,
States
okay.
later, and that's the fastest one. So they want to expand their offering and build another grand ship.
Got you.
So unfortunately, times were changing, and in 1958, the jet engine aircraft was introduced to the mainstream market, and people started to use that for transatlantic travel. So that meant less business for ocean liners who couldn't compete with those times. Like you can
Mm.
fly to Europe in a day. So it just started to phase out the
Hmm.
need for ocean liners,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So it wasn't immediately over for the SS United States, but it was kind of the beginning of the end. So fuel prices were also going up, and government subsidies were not as plentiful because at that time war was not looming over them like it was before. So they were
Mhm.
less likely to want to put money towards it.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah. The 1960s saw other ocean liners go out of service and turn into cruise ships. This wasn't really the best fit, I guess, for the SS United States because she was more built for like speed than just a
Yeah.
casual cruise.
A literal cruise around the coast or whatever.
Right. Um, William Francis Gibbs, he passed in 1967. So 2 years later, the SS United States would officially cease service. So I think you would have been really sad to see that.
Yeah.
I'm glad he
Mhm.
didn't see
Better
that.
he went first, yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of crazy to think about like this ship went from like being built, this huge endeavor, to being like this glory ship to just under 20 years later, she's out of service. You know,
Mhm.
just quite a
That's sad.
dramatic change. Like, and things change though, and technology changes.
I
So
mean, if you just think about the world, how fast the world has changed in 100 years, like, so,
yeah,
looking back, it makes sense because these things just don't last very long. AKA
yeah,
records, A-track, cassette,
right. But
CD.
you still appreciate those records. So, and
Oh,
there's
well,
still a lot of
now,
people who still
oh,
appreciate this ship.
today, like I mentioned,
Yeah.
is
Oh,
National
yeah, National
Record Store
Records.
Day,
Yeah.
April 12th.
Oh,
So I'll be going to do some
great.
shopping later.
She's gonna
Try
go
to
to a
find
record store.
You got
try
it.
to
You have
find
to
a
tell us what you
a
buy.
Led Zeppelin. I will. I like to get them
Mhm.
cheap and secondhand because
Led
Mhm.
Zeppelin will not be cheap. I'm just telling you, even no matter how it could
Yeah.
be almost ripped in half and it will not be cheap.
I'm still going to look because I did find a Crosby, Stills and Nash record for
Yeah.
40, and I'm like, okay, it's not
I bet 40 is
terrible.
probably what you'd pay for the Led Zeppelin
Mhm.
one.
So we'll just see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
will
Just
report back.
splurge on one. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You're a working lady now. You could afford it.
finally, yes, thank God.
And one day our podcast will make money so you can buy more records.
Here we go.
That's
At
why we
least one a
started this
month.
thing. I just want a month from the discount section, but still,
Still.
There you go. So the ship would be sealed and left until 1978, just in case the Navy happened to need her. So they completely like I forget what it's called. They suction out all like the air to keep it preserved inside.
What
So
the
that
heck?
nothing.
What?
Yeah.
What?
This
Yeah.
would
Sealed
be a
it.
great video game. Like you have to bust into this old abandoned ship.
Yeah. I
That
love
would
that
be.
idea.
Someone make this and then just credit us, please.
Or tell us
Yeah.
if it's already made
TM.
what the game is. Yeah.
Yeah, or that if we're just like
Yeah.
if it's already done, but still.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
actually,
I
I
like
mean,
that idea.
it could be like a ghost
Ghost
ship.
ships.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ghost ship was a game.
There was I sent you
Okay,
guys that
we'll
one,
find our own name.
right?
Yeah.
With it's the underwater haunted house video game. I sent you guys a link. It's to a video
Right.
game
Send
and
it
it's
again.
an underwater haunted
Yeah,
house
send it
that you
again.
enter
I
scuba diving.
will watch a video of it because I don't
Yeah.
never have time to play video games
That's
anymore.
fair.
So it was at this point in 1978 that they decided they no longer had any use for her, so they put her up for sale. She was purchased several times, one of the last ones being by a Norwegian Cruises who wanted to use her as a cruise ship. But the plans fell through due to the market. This was like, I think around 2009, they ended up selling her again. So, not the best
Mhm.
time. And so just market reasons, other previous purchasers had passed or money fell through. It was just going to be very, very expensive to make her safe given the amount of asbestos on the ship. Like they
God, I
layered
forgot
about
actually.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't like covered up under the floor.
Yeah.
It was
was
out in the open in
everywhere.
everything, in the paint, in the tile.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people who
Ugh.
worked on her were probably had consequences
Dead
for that,
now?
for health wise.
Ugh,
Yeah. I
shit.
mean, probably. Or,
Well, now
probably-
for sure.
Well,
but
now
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2010, with the help of a grant, the SS United States Conservancy was able to officially own the ship and do what they could to preserve her and share her legacy. So it's best when it's in the hands of a body that is trying to
Yeah.
preserve her.
Mhm.
Like you
So
in
they
your
created-
house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They created a museum and they paid for her to dock in Philadelphia. And like I said before, their website is great. I got a lot of the information from this podcast
Mhm.
from them. So you could tell they really care about the ship. It's actually partially probably because the granddaughter of Gibbs, Susan Gibbs, is part of the team. So
Oh, that's so cool.
obviously she I guess she didn't know that much about the ship really when she was growing up. She knew about it, but she didn't know all the details. But after her grandfather's passing and later on in life, she discovered more about him and just really appreciated his life's work. And seeing the
That's
ship
so
herself
cool.
just made her
Very
fall in love
cool,
with it
yeah.
as well. So, yeah, she really wanted to preserve the ship and its history. So
Mhm.
the next photo is the ship today. Well, recently.
Oh,
It
that's
You can
sad.
see it's
looks a
really,
little
it looks very
rough.
like a ghost ship, right?
It
Yeah.
really does. It almost looks like
Abandoned
the
ghost
photo
ship.
has been, like, edited to make it look
It almost looks
even
like a
sadder.
painting of
It
it, the
does
ship,
kind
Yeah.
of,
right?
It is
because of
very
the way the
worn, like the
paint's, like
colors.
Crawling,
Mhm.
it's like
it
paint
does.
strokes.
Oh my god, it does. It
Yeah.
looks scary. I'll be honest, like,
I
it
think
looks
most of
scary.
the money they have is just spent just have being paid like paying for her dock. That's really
Oh my
expensive
god.
Oh,
to
wow, okay.
just have rent for a ship
Fair. I
this
guess that's just
big.
that's not free, is it?
Nope. Nope. And it's hard to come by. So I
Mhm.
think that's probably why they, couldn't spend a lot maintaining every aspect of the ship.
Mhm.
So she does look like a ghost ship, right? And I was like, what was Megan's definition? So in some definitions, a ghost ship can be a decommissioned ship. So she could fit the bill.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I would
and
say that, there's always, like, the literal definition, and then there's also kind of, like, what like, does it feel like a ghost ship? And, yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's
right.
technically abandoned. It had its heyday.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
kind of sitting, rusting, not abandoned, but definitely,
Right.
left to rot, sadly. And, like, so, yeah, I think it's a ghost ship.
Yeah. I actually listened to an episode from Abandoned America about her that came out a couple of years ago.
Oh,
Mm.
cool.
It was really interesting, and the host was actually able to go inside her a couple times to look around, which was very
Whoa.
difficult to do. You have to
Really?
get special approvals and stuff,
That'd be scary.
obviously with the asbestos and things like that. But just in general, she wasn't obviously open to the public. So I
Mhm.
want to show you a photo of the grand staircase first in modern day, and then you can go to the next photo to see what she looks like today.
It looks so,
Oh,
like,
wow.
50s, 60s.
Yes, in
I
that first
want
And
to
it
know
photo
what
is
looks
color
her.
this
very
is. Is it olive green? Like, I'm dying to know.
very
I
sad.
know.
Okay,
Let's
and the
see. I don't
abandoned.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
just all, like,
The
stripped
caution
down.
tape falling and everything too, it just makes it that much
Yeah,
more sad.
it is really sad. And there were some like decorative things on the wall.
Yeah, like,
I'm trying to
Mhm.
panels that
find
are
like
all
a
gone.
color photo, and I'm not.
You know
In
what?
the
It's
first
also kind
page
of
of
reminding me of
search.
when I did the Italian the haunted island again, when
Uh,
things it almost looked like
Oh
people
yeah,
just left.
Poveglia.
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 Right.
Because, they had, like, hospital beds that were just kind of askew
Yeah.
in the middle of the room
Mhm.
and doors off their hinges, and when things are full of life and then abandoned, it's just so depressing.
Mhm.
It is. Yeah. It really shocked me to see it like this rough. It's like it looks like people went in and stripped things down,
Things were definitely taken because it looks like
Yeah.
the other photo, there's, like, this cool paneling on the wall,
Yeah,
and
nothing is
Right.
like just the metal. It's probably all the asbestos they're taking off the
oh
walls.
my
Yeah.
gosh, yes, but yeah, and
Yeah.
and that that's why
Yeah.
the floor is bare as well, because they had to probably take
Yeah.
everything up, and this is just, like,
Yeah.
the steel underneath or the aluminum, whatever they used.
Yes.
Well, it's a lot of
Yeah.
cans.
No
Aluminum
wood.
foil.
Yeah. So it is and over the years, like I said, many people did tried to restore her and put money into her,
It's
but
expensive.
it is a very expensive
Turn it
endeavor.
into a
And then
floating hotel at the Queen Mary. I'd go.
Oh,
well, that's what
yeah.
people wanted to do. So
Mhm.
the ship still means a lot to many people. I think it is an important piece of history, not just because I love ships, but
Yeah.
I
I think
love a ship, you know me.
yeah. Um, Unfortunately, there was a unexpected turn of events. I think it was a year or two ago, where the landlord increased the rent significantly on the dock, and it made it
Goddamn
impossible for the
landlords.
conservancy to keep up with those
That
payments. So
is so
Oh.
fucked up.
I know. I think they tried to sue over it too. I don't think they were successful,
Have
but
you ever met a
Ugh.
yeah,
landlord that is a good person? I haven't.
I haven't
I'm
met
trying
many
to think.
landlords,
No.
to be fair. Like the actual landlords. Like normally I've lived in buildings where it's like, this is a company.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't
but
have your best interest usually at heart. They have
correct.
their best
Oh,
interest at heart.
okay.
So, the, in the past year, there have been numerous efforts to try to save the ship from being scrapped at this point because, or find a dock for her to at least buy some time. You can see my next photo. This is Susan Gibbs in front of the plaque on the ship.
So
Obviously,
that's
that
a
means so much to
granddaughter?
her, the granddaughter. Yeah.
Okay.
There have been lofty plans, like I said, to turn her into a floating hotel or attraction like the Queen Mary. But again, high cost, lack of pier. It just hasn't worked. So early this year, Susan had to kind of give up on all these efforts and allow for a plan for the Big U to be intentionally sunk and turned into an artificial reef in Florida's Gulf Coast. hmm That's not what she wanted for the ship, but
No.
she would prefer that, I think, over the scrapping of the ship. At least it could be an
Yeah.
ecosystem and
Yeah.
people could dive to her. So she wouldn't be like lost forever, but
It will
it's
still
definitely
become an
not what she,
attraction. It's just, yeah, not the
right. She didn't like donate her life to saving a ship that would just go underwater.
yeah.
Why am I so emotional over a ship I just
I
learned about
know.
today?
I know, right?
I'm actually
It's,
really heartbroken. I was like, imagine if it was
well,
permanently moored
not,
somewhere and they had like a whole like museum floor. You could spend the night. You could
yeah.
have events.
Mhm.
You could do go like imagine all the
I
shit you
would
could
go.
do.
We would go,
We
We
right?
have
would.
so many girls trips. This would be bumped to the top.
Yes. So there are now lots of bids from different dive businesses in Florida trying to get her to be sunk near them to get more
Yeah.
business,
Mm.
obviously. And there's
Oh.
another big ship there in the area. They're like, oh, we should sink her next to that, because then there'd be like so much diving activity. Uh, and she would be like, because she is so tall, she would be like more for like recreational divers could probably see the top part of her. And then if you're like a better diver, you could go down lower.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh my god.
So, there are, however, some last-ditch efforts to try to save the SS United States from its fate. So, like I said, it's currently in Florida now, or sorry,
It,
maybe I think Alabama.
but
It's
it's already like it's already moved. Like it's not.
right, it's moved. It's not in Philadelphia
Oh.
anymore. They're going to be working on completely gutting and cleaning out all the toxic materials for the next year.
Yeah, you don't
So
want to
that way
sink
she'll
that.
just be right. You don't want to
No.
put those into the water and be like, here, fish, like
Yeah.
No, of
have our
course not.
asbestos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it'll essentially just be a floating piece of aluminum when they're all done, and by the time they sink it. Uh, so yeah, there is one last ditch effort to try to save her, and it's a coalition called the New York Coalition to Save the SS United States. There's a petition, which I will share the link if anyone would like to
Yes.
sign it. Sign it ASAP
Mhm.
because her time is ticking.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I mean, overall, I would like her to be saved. Someone must have money. Like it's going to cost them a lot of money to even strip her out. And obviously, if you have the money to do that, then why can't you, I don't know, put it towards making her pretty again?
Yeah. I mean, I find it hang on.
I'm on the
I had to
website.
clear my throat.
You can even donate to it, by the way. Mhm.
Why did a maritime museum or something like that not pick this ship up? If this ship like was something that was special like that, you think that it would have been picked up by them? Is it because of the
I
amount
think it's
of
just the high cost. It's just where do you put her? A lot of
Yeah.
places don't have the space for a ship this big. I think that's one of the main issues. And
Mhm.
then it is going to cost, I don't know, tens of millions probably to
And they do
renovate
still have to
her.
upkeep the ships as well, because I think that I was
Right.
talking about I forget what episode it was, but I was talking about something like that with the Maritime Museum. Oh, it was the ghost ship episodes where the haunted dives and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, it's I know that there's maritime museums, but because the parts of the ships that are in the water, they still have to like do maintenance and stuff like that as well. So
Yeah.
maybe it's like the how big the ship is, the cost.
Right.
But it does
I
seem
mean,
sad
how
that like a
many?
maritime museum can't pick it up because that would be so cool
Yeah.
to have this thing.
I'm like, does Halifax have some dock space?
Yeah.
Oh, like our harbor is big, but like not in this sense. Like I don't know where this would
Well,
freaking
big
go.
cruise ships come to Halifax, but they probably
But
want
Yeah.
to save those for the cruise
yes,
ships.
for the
Yeah.
But
cruise
I don't know,
ships, yeah.
maybe I don't know.
Maybe
We do
someone
have
has
the
a nice
second
tract of land
largest or
and could
deepest
just
natural harbor.
yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine it's just in someone's field? Like
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
and then
wow,
you
yeah.
charge kids $5 and it's the coolest playground you've ever seen.
there you go. Charge
And if
kids.
and
Yeah,
throw
kids are
those
not supposed to be near asbestos,
and
but
listen, and if kids go missing, whatever. I don't know. That's
Kids
not my
go
job. I
missing.
just run this playground.
I don't know how we
I don't
got
know if
into the
you're
coal
I'm gonna
area,
send my
okay?
kids
I
to
just
your asbestos high cost playground.
Listen,
Megan's trying to make a
But
haunted
I like
attraction by
I
just
like what you're
stealing
trying to do
children.
here.
you've heard
Right.
of a corn maze. Come
Yeah.
check this thing out. Also, it's very rusty and you will cut yourself, so wear long
Also,
sleeves.
please sign this waiver and have your tetanus shot available, okay? There's tetanus shots at the end that you
I was
get.
gonna say, no,
I'm sure
actually,
parents are lining up as we
Complimentary
speak.
tetanus shot.
oh, sorry, nothing's complimentary, and they're in the gift shop.
You can get them out complimentary. Chantal is our nurse
Yeah, there
on
we go.
site.
Yeah. That'll just make me feel a little less guilty about
you don't
it.
have to inject them,
Stab
but you
them,
do
yeah.
have to pay for them, okay? This is not
Yes.
a charity.
Oh,
I'm
Holy
actually
Hell's not
so
funding this.
depressed about this ship that I
yeah.
just learned about an hour ago.
I know, right? I don't want her to be gone because honestly, like I understand that people could still visit her, but I likely wouldn't be able. Like it's you still have to train to dive even at that
Yeah.
depth that she'll be at, and getting there,
Mhm.
and it'd be much more likely if she was just docked somewhere and I could fly in
And then
visit.
you obviously like cordon off sections. Like the entire ship is not open to visit because that would be a lot of upkeep. So you close off sections and you have like,
Yeah,
you have like rooms and areas that are redone in the style of its heyday. And how beautiful
yeah,
would that be? You could have weddings there or
I
special
know.
events or I don't
Not
know.
to
I
mention, I'm
just
on the fence with how I feel about man-made reefs and things because
yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot of on both sides about like, well, you are still like putting garbage into the water.
But you're just
No
calling
matter
it
how
like,
much you
ooh.
pull out of it, you
Yeah.
are still doing that. But it is creating homes for in the areas where you
Right.
need the
Because
reefs to
we
be built
destroy
up.
their
So
actual reefs. Maybe we
because
just
we,
don't
yeah,
do that.
exactly.
And
See, it's
Yeah.
fine
not
now because we just sunk this national treasure and
And-
it's
And we're just
fine.
putting,
yeah.
degrading this metal down over time into the water. I'm sure it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the fish there.
Yeah. So it's a totally okay now that we destroyed all their real reefs. Yeah, I would like it
So
to
you
be
you you destroy this
preserved,
beautiful ship
but
and then you destroy the reef and then by putting the beautiful ship you destroyed in the reef you destroyed, everything's fine.
Everything's
You
fine.
yeah.
see?
It's a
So full
circle
circle,
of life.
when we talked in the beginning about, excess, maybe a little bit overconsumption, I think things should be saved, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
including the ship. I would,
And also now the ship is already made so you can't change that. Maybe stop making new ships all the time and if you can
yeah,
retrofit, you can upgrade, you can fix, maybe do
Mhm.
that. Like if you have a shirt that you love and there's a hole in it. Don't throw it out. Try to patch the hole. Like even if it's like a fast fashion piece, if you can like fix things up and get more years out of them, do that. Because the more
right.
you
Or you have an old
purchase,
dresser, you
the more you
repaint
just
it
control
or something, or
exactly. Or if anything, take the paint off and see if there's a nice natural wood underneath. You don't
See
know.
if there's an asbestos in the paint. I don't know.
Well, no, lead, right? I mean,
lead. Yeah,
Lead, yeah.
lead's in paint.
you got to watch
asbestos
it
is
for
in.
lead too,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of things to watch
Not
out for
aluminum.
with old things,
God, the
but
50s were a dangerous
it's
time.
Just to
yeah,
be alive
bras.
was dangerous.
Yeah. God damn it.
yeah.
What year was the was it Uranium Girls?
Oh,
Remember where
when
they
they
were
were
painting with
painting the
the
watches,
uranium paint? Yeah.
it might have been
That
slightly
was like
before
the
that.
Yeah.
20s
yeah,
or
they were
Wasn't
30s.
all
literally
makeup completely toxic too? Like
Oh yeah, it was
we're just
not
putting
great what we were
humans
doing.
just don't want to live, and we're
carcinogens
like,
on our
how can
skin.
we try to hurt ourselves?
It's amazing that
Oh.
this much many of us have survived.
Survived this
So,
long? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
Well, I feel
I
depressed,
think
so this is
my
good.
dad was born in 54, and I guess my grandma was like that was a big push to not breastfeed back then. So she was giving them I think just condensed milk at times or something, like
Oh my
not good for
God.
babies. Like it was, I don't know if it was condensed milk, but it was something similar. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like a
Evaporated milk,
high end
maybe?
form. Yeah, it wasn't like a high end formula like they have
Mhm.
today. Um, it was a weird time. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it.
yeah, like don't
The
give your
50s
baby.
was a hell of a drug.
Not that I would ever push breastfeeding on people, obviously.
Well, some people
No, no.
I've
can't,
struggled.
and they want
Some
to,
people
yeah.
can't. I struggled before. But it's just kind of crazy that they would promote like just this maybe not so healthy, like sugary milk.
Just water,
Yeah.
chalk,
When you
and some syrup and honey.
And
Babies
water
are happy.
Yeah. Obviously,
Well,
they're
to
probably
make it
because
white,
they're all
you
in
know?
cahoots with the formula making companies and they're trying to make
Mhm.
money. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, it was a weird
Okay,
time.
well,
but
listen, Lindsay, you got to find that petition because
yes, I
people are gonna
haven't
have
actually.
Okay.
in my notes. So maybe we can pop it up on the screen if possible.
And I will
Chantal.
link it
You
in
can work
the
your
description.
magic. Okay.
Sign this petition. I'll even put it
Yes.
on Instagram.
And we'll
then
make a
we'll
post
save
for
Only
sure.
12,000 something votes, like signatures right now. So we can
Let's
add
make
some
that
that
more,
up.
12,010. Let's
Yes.
let's get it up there.
I like it. I like it.
If you feel inclined, please sign.
Oh, it rhymed.
Awesome story in a depressed
12,825.
way. But
Yeah,
this was I love learning this kind of stuff. Although I'm very mad, but I'm not mad at you. I'm just mad at the
Yeah.
situation. Okay.
I hope
I'm a
not.
little
I
mad at
mean,
you for bringing
not
this into
thinking
my
her.
life.
Well, so I can't control
Well,
how
now you know
Chantal
about
feels.
her. You know what?
Yeah, but I'm angry. I'm
Yeah.
angry
It's
about
better
it.
to have loved than have never loved at all.
You know
So-
what?
Is it?
You're right. I think.
I think
All right.
so.
Okay. Well, I
Well,
love
shit.
you, ladies. And,
I love
both
you
too.
both, and I love the big you more.
Oh,
I know. I love.
she loves the big you better
more?
than us now. Wow.
I mean, that's
We
fine.
just
I get
really-
it. She's
Yeah, like
gorgeous.
see, Lindsay gets it. She's on
I get
board.
it. I'm not. Yeah, on board. I'm just killing it with these puns, Megan.
Well, you said it earlier too, but I don't even know if that was intentional.
Oh, I think that was just how I talk now. I talk.
Yeah.
Ship puns
Lindsay's just
in my
all about those
dreams.
ships. All right, well, have a great rest of your Saturday, everyone. I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
the
thank
record
you.
store, and I'll maybe I'll post on the account, even though it's nothing to do with the ocean or the coast. But I'll be like, record store day.
Go for it.
Mhm.
Maybe you find a record with some oceany theme.
I
on
will
it.
look actually. Maybe I'll find like ocean sounds from like 1965. You know, you'd play that in your kids' room. Do they even
Right.
do things like that?
No, my kids listen to ocean sounds every night.
No, but I mean,
Or
but like,
rain
but did
sounds.
your dad?
One
Was
of
your
the
dad
two.
like, Mom, I can't sleep? And your, grandma's like, oh, let me play this this
I-
record of ocean sounds.
Oh, I
I-
definitely had one of those. Yes, I had the record of the whale sounds.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
we had one. I remember that.
When
or
we were
was it a
kids,
tape?
yeah, but I don't think when my dad was a kid. I think
I'm
they were just
gonna
like,
find
go to
out
sleep,
today.
child.
Just sleep, or I'll smack
Shut
you.
your goddamn eyes.
Or you're not gonna get any more chalk and water, okay?
I know. Kids today have it way
now.
better, I think.
I'm leaving the syrup out of your chalk and water tomorrow.
Papa, no.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know
I
how we
love
got
you.
there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Love you.
Well, have a great day. I love you both.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a moment to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leaving us a like or comment really helps. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, please visit our coffee page at www.ko-fi.com/coastfiles. Email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.